Most Bibles are like a Swiss Army penknife, aren't they, really? They do a lot of things, they do them all pretty well, but the value of them is that it can do a lot of things. But then there are knives that are just optimized for a single task, like this one. And today's Bible is more like this. It does one thing, but it does it really well. Well, hello and welcome back to another Bible breakdown. And I've got a really interesting Bible for you today, so let me just show you what it is. It's the DaySpring Illustrating Bible, and I've got the green faux leather version, and the text of the Bible is the Christian Standard Bible in this one. So let me go to the overhead and let you see. Look at this. It's in a really nice, quite substantial box. It's actually quite heavy to pick it up. It's got a nice sage colour to it and some gold embossing. So I think a lot of the Bibles that get sold of this version are going to be as gifts for people. So it's really nicely presented and it will make a really good gift. Even if you're buying it for yourself, it's going to feel like a substantial purchase and something that you're going to want to treasure. So let me slide off the lid and you can see the thickness of the card on here. This is really nicely made, so well done to DaySpring on that. And here's the Bible itself, and probably the first thing you're going to notice is it's square. Now I'll talk a bit more about this later, but basically it's been made this shape because it's designed for illustrating, as it says in the title, or journaling or sketching or painting. And as is the way, people are going to want to share their creations, so they've made it a square format to make it just that bit easier to make social media photos for Instagram or wherever. We've got this nice spiral binding here as well. It goes really well with the colour of the leather, well, faux leather I should say, and it's packaged nicely, so it's got some substance to it. These are just cardboard pieces, but this is probably not what the designers ever expected anybody to do. But look at this, it's cardboard, it's just packing, but they've even taken the time to print that as well, and it just makes quite a difference to how classy it feels. So again, well done on that. So let me lift this out, get rid of the box and swap cameras, because we need to do the sniff test, obviously. Well, it's a bit unfair because it's not a leather Bible, so we're not going to get that leathery smell, but the paper smells pretty good actually. I just love the smell of ink on paper. It may be a ministry need that I have, but I really like it. Let me do a page riffle. I'm going to lean in and let you hear the pages. And do a little, just take one of them. You're hearing that? Now, I don't know if you watched the last one we did, but that had a very crisp, silvery sound when we shook the page. This is a much more muted sound, but again, there's a good reason for that, which I will explain as we go through. So let me go back to the overhead and just show you what's at the beginning. So, in the beginning, God created, ... and this has got like a fake suede feel to it. So again, it feels really nice, and I like the way that they've actually printed the same colour as the leather there. By the way, you can get a dark grey and a pink version of this as well, with, again, both of them have the gold embossing on the front. So we've got the usual title page here at the beginning, let's say who this Bible belongs to. Then we get the traditional list of the books of the Bible, which you would expect, but they have also done the alphabetical index to the books of the Bible as well. And we talked about this in a previous Bible, but that's really good, especially for somebody who hasn't been a Christian that long. It's really nice to just be able to go alphabetically and find the book that you want. Then we get a little page here explaining about the Christian Standard Bible. This is one of the newer translations of the Bible. I think it's 2004 it goes back to, so it's really not an old translation. But it's trying for a balance of clarity, especially when you read it, without giving up on the theological aspects, so that it's a good study Bible, but nice and easily readable, which again makes it a really good choice for something like this. Title page for the Old Testament, and then here we are. Now, I absolutely love this font. I love how simple and clean it is, and they've printed it in the a brownish grey or greyish brown, and that really works for me. I love that. Actually, it's just simple and clean. In terms of readability though, I'm really struggling with this one. It's an 8-point font, which is very small. Let me just zoom in if I can come all the way in. Just check that that's focused. I think it is. Hopefully you can see that. So it's really small, and again, you can understand why they've had to do it, because the Bible's all about the space alongside the text. So but I would really get a headache fairly quickly if I was trying to read any significant chunks of this. However, having said that, and to be fair to them, it's an illustrating Bible, it's not a preaching Bible. But what they're trying to achieve is this space. So if we turn this over to a non-title page, so in metric, we have got 9.5 centimeters of width, which is about 3 3/4 inches. So you've got lots and lots of space here to be able to do your illustrations or your drawings or cartoons or calligraphy or sketching or just journaling, whatever you want to do. And of course, this is the main point of this Bible. It's there to capture what goes through your mind, what comes into your heart or your spirit when you read a verse of scripture. So in order to give us this space on every single page, they've obviously had to compress the text, and they've also had to give up on any fancy features, cross-referencing and all of that, because as we said at the beginning, it's optimized for a single purpose, and that is to capture your illustrations when you read the word. Now, we mentioned that this was a thicker paper. It's actually about 75% extra thickness on this paper, so that it doesn't bleed through when you use gouache or inks or paints or whatever you're going to do. So it's really well done for that. And as you feel it, it feels nice, but compared to traditional Bible paper, there's just a tiny bit of additional roughness. But again, that's to give it a key so that the ink or the gouache or the paint or whatever you use will actually stick to the page. And then as it dries, it's going to stay on this side of the paper and not bleed through. So the square format, since I've got my ruler in my hand anyway, so that is 23.5 centimeters square. And if you're watching in the States, I ought to have used the right scale. That's about 9.25 inches, I think. Yeah, 9.25 inches square. So quite a size. And that's pretty much it. It's the same layout every single page. It does sit very flat, which is great. That's why they've got this large diameter spiral here. So it looks good, but it's also doing quite an important job. Because there's so many holes, I think I would want to be a little bit careful. You know, as I was turning the pages, I wouldn't want to pull too hard, because that will perforate through if we're not careful. But the pages do move nicely. And you can imagine this, you know, setting it down on the table to take a photograph of what you've done. Actually working on it is going to be easy. It could even sit on a coffee table, couldn't it? And just let people see what has spoken to you in this bit of the word. So yeah, I think that's going to sit really nicely. It's pretty heavy, so you're not going to take this to house group, I don't think. You're certainly, well, I say certainly, I wouldn't preach from it. To me, this is going to stay at home in its box, being kept safe, or it's going to be out on my work table, or it's going to be on the coffee table to be photographed or to share with friends. And that's all it's claiming that it does do, and I think it's going to do all of those things really well. And that is it. Let's just check at the back. But I think I'm right in thinking there's nothing. Well, they're giving us I think it may be one blank page at the back. So yeah, a couple of blank pages at the back. And then a final closing thought, again done in the green ink, and that is it. It's a Bible designed to do a single purpose, and it does it really well. So that is the DaySpring Illustrating Bible. So let's come up with some scores on this. And I should say it's a little bit unfair. It's being compared as if it's an ordinary Bible, and it isn't an ordinary Bible. But since we're started, we should carry on with these. So I'm giving it 2 out of 5 on the sniff test. Like the smell of the paper, no leather there to give me that joyous feeling I get when I smell leather. So 2 out of 5 for that. Feel test, that's a 3. The paper doesn't feel as nice to the touch, but it can't because it needs to do a different job, which is it's got to be painted on. So feels pretty good for that kind of paper. Readability for me, I'm giving it 2.5 because I would really struggle to read this. If you're younger than me and got better eyesight than me, that might not be a problem at all. Portability, I've given it 1 because it really isn't claiming to be portable, and it isn't portable. So this is a stay-at-home Bible or move it if you have to Bible. So 1 out of 5 on that. Extras, there aren't really any extras, but I've given it 3 because the one extra that it gives you, the ability to draw and sketch and paint on it, is a fantastic feature, and it's the whole purpose of the Bible, isn't it? So I think it's fair enough to give that as a couple of extra bonus points. Value, this is a really hard one to answer properly, isn't it? Because when you first see the price of this Bible, it is really, really expensive. So on day 1, I'd probably give it a 0.5 out of 5 for value. But here's the thing. Let's say we come and look at the Bible 5 years later, its value will have gone up massively, not because the paper or the faux leather or the spiral binding has become any more valuable, but your paintings, your drawings, your sketches, your calligraphy, your notes, your journaling are going to increase its value week by week, month by month, year by year. And it's going to last a long time. It's well made, and it's going to take you a long time to cover every single page of this Bible and to have spent the time to read the word and meditate on it and then commit that to some kind of artistic expression. So the value is going to go up and up and up. So I've given it a 3 to try and reflect that, really, that its value is what it enables you to do, not what it gives you pre-made, if you see what I mean. And then the final score and who it's for, 12.5 out of 25, which for a single focus Bible I think is actually pretty good. It's not claiming to be a primary Bible, it's definitely an additional Bible. You will want others on top of this in your Christian walk. Could you use this on the first day that you've been a Christian? Absolutely you could, as long as you're old enough to hold a pen at that point. It'll carry on your whole life pretty much, and it's a devotional effort, isn't it? It's something that enables you to capture your thoughts and your feelings and your revelations as you work your way through the word. So it's going to last a lifetime. It's just never going to go that high on the study scale. It's a devotional Bible. It's not offering us concordances or maps or additional apps or anything like that. It's just doing this one job, but it will do it all the way through. So it's a really good proposition, I think. So thanks very much for listening in. You'll find chapter headings down below. You'll find a link to this Bible on the Eden.co.uk website. You'll find other Bible reviews on our YouTube channel. And please do subscribe and click the little bell so that you get told when the next one comes out. You don't always get told otherwise. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one.